Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are finally finishing out Batman First Knight with the final issue of the miniseries, issue number 3. If you didn't see the previous videos, go ahead and check it out here in the Batman podcast playlist. But yeah, we got a lot to cover with this one, a lot to wrap up, so let's just go ahead and get into it. This issue opens up with the mysterious villain that we've seen in the background of this story the entire time, The Voice, talking to his men on the radio. After word of Johnny the Whip being gunned down by Jim Gordon spreads across the city, they find out that he's in intensive care at the hospital and that there's a risk that he might snitch to the authorities. Corral the boys, The Voice tells him. We make our move tonight, before Johnny talks and blows the whole deal. We then catch up with Batman at Wayne Manor, after finally taking all the recommendations from Rabbi Cohen and Jim Gordon about carrying a gun. He looks at his father's pistol in the armory and considers everything that he's worked for up to this point. I remember the morning when you said you'd never hunt again, father, he says. You'd been in surgery all night, all because of a shootout between police and gangsters that ended with innocent bystanders getting hurt. You were appalled by the wounds and the horrific damage the bullets had done. You said you didn't want to be responsible for inflicting that level of pain on any living thing, animal or person, ever. He stares at the gun once more before putting it down and saying, I'm sorry. The next morning, we find him in his laboratory in the shed, looking over one of the deceased bodies of the undead goon that Gordon had shot and killed. After stealing the cadaver from the Gotham City morgue, he was able to run tests and find out a little bit more about what happened to these goons. And after examining the body for a good amount of time, he notices that there's acute atrophy in the liver. And from this, he's able to determine that these creatures show so many signs of decay that if the police hadn't shot them, if Gordon hadn't blown his brains out, he'd be dead by the end of the week anyway. Bruce then starts developing some sort of antidote to deal with this problem. If he's not going to use guns, he has to figure out another way to put them down. By the time night starts to fall, he swings by Gordon's office again and scares the hell out of him. Will you please use the door? Batman carries in multiple canisters that almost look like they should be part of a flamethrower. This will help with the Beastmen, he says. What makes you think it's all happening tonight? Gordon asks. The monsters have a shelf life, and it's soon to expire, Batman tells him. Their clock is ticking, and hitting their targets with isolated assassinations is going to take too much time. They're gonna make a big play, and it has to be now. Use this gas. It accelerates the decay. One all-out final push, eh? We'll be ready. Where will you... Over at the hospital, the guards watching over Johnny the Whip are talking about nothing just outside the door, paying so little attention to the victim inside that one of the goons is able to scale the hospital, climb up to the floor where Johnny's at, open the window, sneak in, and move the body out the way he came in. And on his way out, the guards finally hear something, finally notice, move in, and by that point it's too late. The Voice's men update him. We put the grab on him, boss. Johnny is ours. Well done, the Voice says. Now take him to the lab. Give me 90 minutes to get in place, and then we turn everybody loose. When the sun comes up tomorrow, we will own this city. The goon carrying Johnny hops into a getaway car in the fog, and they drive off. But little do they know, Batman is right on their tails. Suddenly, random buildings all across the city start blowing up spontaneously, so that the getaway car is able to get away without being noticed. They pull up to Blackgate in the dead of night, and we get a moment between the only people awake in the prison as they talk about everything happening in the city. Bad news, Warden Shelby. We're getting reports of explosions going off throughout Gotham, one of the guards says. The mayor's office, the governor's mansion, even police stations. All sorts of places are getting hit. Jesus, DeBesso, it's fucking happening. The mook who's been lopping heads off is making his play. The Voice, you mean? Officer DeBesso asks. Yeah, also he can put Gotham's leader on ice and take over. Let's have a look. It might seem cockeyed to say, but this could break in my favor, the warden says. With our political leaders all dead, the feds will move in to restore order, and once they're done, I'd be about the only lawman still breathing, which would make for an open track to the mayor's office. Gosh, I suppose that'd be true, sir, DeBesso says. You wouldn't mind being the mayor's top assistant, or maybe even police commissioner, would you, DeBesso? The warden says. That would be swell, DeBesso answers. You'd blow up half the city to be mayor? A disembodied voice says. Who said that? DeBesso asks. Sounds like it's coming from everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. Listen up, mister. I didn't blow up anything. If you want to accuse me, show yourself. You're guilty. Admit it. Batman jumps off the roof and glides over to where they're at. You. Yeah. Me. I am not taking the fall just because some masked head is making wild accusations. Shut up! Batman pushes him over. You run this place. You rigged the electric chair so it would take men to within seconds of death, yet leave them alive. He punches the warden in the face, sending him flying back. Please, I don't know what you're talking about. I swear on my mother's soul I didn't do it. He cowers in fear. Batman stops for a moment. If it wasn't you, then... He then notices there's one less person around. DeBesso. We then catch up with DeBesso back with his goons at his lab. Our undead foot soldier putting Johnny the Whip's body on the table. Miscreants, you were followed, DeBesso tells him. What? No, we was looking the whole way. The fog and all. Ain't no one could have told us. The so-called Batman did. He knows I'm the voice, but we still have time to process Johnny. Put him on the table. You played it well, DeBesso, Batman says, jumping down onto the scene. You ran it from the shadows where no one could identify you. You hid behind a radio and your boss, setting him up to be a suspect. But the time has finally come to mute the voice. He punches the voice in the face, and one of his goons in the background holds a gun to him. Got you dead to rights. He kicks the guy in the face, sending the gun flying out of his hand. What I'm still unsure of is why you did it. Presiding over the financial capital of a world locked into war and chaos offers unlimited potential, the voice says. I am not the curiosity here, you are. And what I can't help but wonder, one of the goons grabs Batman from the shadows, is what motivates you to dress up like a hopped up sap to on the town chasing death. Go out, whether it's a death wish you have or a thirst for some weird type of fame, I'll give it to you. He tries to inject him and turn him into a goon as well. Batman kicks it away and knocks the needle out of his hand. We see officers and citizens of Gotham running around amongst the chaos, buildings and streets on fire, goons running rampant through the streets, fighting the authorities, before Jim Gordon, with the canisters that Batman gave him, steps onto the scene and starts spraying all these goons with bright green gas from Batman's antidote. Undead goons start to melt at the touch of the gas. The voice flees the scene to the courthouse while Batman is being strangled by Johnny the Whip. He reaches for his utility belt. One chance. He sprays a canister of the antidote on Johnny, curing him before one of the voice's spare goons jumps in and tries to shoot him with a Tommy gun. Batman breaks free and throws a canister straight at his face. You ain't won yet, the goon says. You're still getting clipped. The Whip will tear that ugly mug of yours clean off. Batman picks up the Tommy gun. He can try, but he's dying. We then see Johnny the Whip finally dying for good as he melts from the antidote sinking into his skin. As fire continues to burn through the streets, DeBesso stands at the steps of a courthouse with a crowd of people in front of him, just wondering what the hell's going on. He announces to them, your mayor, commissioner, and police force are in retreat or dead. I can restore the order you want, but you have to realize that Gotham is mine, and you will answer to me. The people in the crowd call out, that's absurd. One man can't take over the whole city. No one can. We then see another one of the planes that we saw in issue number 2 flying in with canisters falling down from it, descending into the streets and exploding on impact, exposing all the goons to the antidote almost instantly. Batman jumps straight out of the plane, glides to the ground, and lets everyone in the city see him for the very first time. As I live and breathe, one woman says. Why, that's the Batman that everyone's crowing about, another man says. Flew right out of that plane, he did. Gordon and the cops move through the green smoke, telling everyone to get out of there. DeBesso tries to run and disappear into the fog, saying, you are never getting your mitts on me. Little does he know Batman's right in front of him, saying, them? No. Me? Different story. And he punches him so hard he flies backwards. No sane man does this kind of thing, DeBesso says. Is this some kind of grift? You want in on the action? A cut of your own? Well, you'll get nothing from me, and there's no way I'm letting you put me in prison. You wouldn't be caged for long, DeBesso. You're a murderer, a killer. For that, you'll get the chair. He punches him full force again, definitely breaking something this time. I am not gonna fry in my own goddamn chair, the voice says. You, on the other hand, will be a lumbering, drooling lug of a beast that serves me. He swings another needle at him, trying to infect him one last time. You are the voice, Batman says. For the lives you've taken, he pushes him backwards, sending the needle right into his own body, injecting him with the undead serum. A price must be paid. We then see DeBesso transform into one of his own creations, and as he's transforming, he's being exposed to the antidote that's in the air, meaning he dies almost immediately as the fog tears him apart and he melts to death. Batman? Is that you? Gordon says. Where's DeBesso? If he got away, no. Batman says. Then Gordon sees DeBesso dying right in front of him. Christ, he says. Did you intend for this to... Batman is gone once again. Reporters and citizens then hound the police. Was that him, Commissioner? The giant bat? I wouldn't quite put it like that, Gordon says. Then how would you put it? Gazette readers want to know what all of this means for Gotham. Tell them the city's safe, Gordon replies. Gotham's defenders and one of the most unique men I've ever encountered made sure we still stand strong tonight, as we always have and always will. And then we see Batman swinging away into the night as the chaos finally starts to die down. We then catch back up with Rabbi Jacob Cohen back at his synagogue. Need some help, Rabbi? Batman says. From what I heard, you have done plenty, Jacob answers. The papers still insist that you're more creature than man. Batman then starts helping him clean up a little bit. If my enemies fear me, it could work to my advantage. Batman then tells him that he's heard word that some folks in the US are trying to help some Jewish people from overseas get immigrated here in the US as quickly and safely as possible, so as to avoid the chaos and the war in Europe. I understand Bruce Wayne is one of those people, even guaranteeing full employment as part of it. Thank you, Jacob says. We can stand by and watch as mayhem and bloodshed consume the world, or we can step up to make a difference. Speaking of bloodshed, I have wondered, Batman cuts him off, I left the gun behind. And you're at peace with that decision? The rabbi asks. I fear peace will forever elude me, Batman answers. Perhaps some quiet time with a chance to reflect and settle your soul. Please, he says, join my family and me tonight. We will light a candle, and Batman cuts him off again. You're very kind, Rabbi. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but me, the person that I am, that isn't for me. I understand, and I thank you for your help and your courage. And though I wish you the peace and contentment to which all are entitled, I fear it will be as you said, and that with the path that you've made, it will never be yours to know. And we see Batman in the morning sky after all the fires have died down and the city is safe, knowing that the Batman is out there to protect it. That is where our story ends, so I gotta say, this miniseries was amazing. I know it resonated with a lot of you the way it resonated with me, so thank you guys for supporting these videos, thank you for enjoying it, thank you for commenting and leaving all your thoughts. And I also gotta say, even though Batman didn't really use guns in this one, I did appreciate that he did technically do some killing in this. I know it was kind of like indirect and all that stuff, but I think that's a healthy amount of like darkness for Batman. But yeah, if you want more videos like this, go ahead and check out the Batman podcast playlist or some of the other ones. We got some Spider-Man, we got some Avengers, and yeah, that is it for this video. I will see you in the next one.